I'm gonna do a full-length video on this one instead of a sped up time lapse. It's gonna be more tonal. I just tried it and I had to scrap it because I was using just a standard canvas and it was way too textured. When you go to try to wipe it off, it won't. This one's very smooth. This was an old painting that I ground, sanded, get it as smooth as I could. The colors I'm using are sap green, transparent red oxide, and Payne's gray, and then titanium white. Oh, also Galkide. I use a lot of Galkide now. I never used to, but with the Galkide, it really helps the paintings dry within days instead of months. They were taking my paintings would take months and months to dry. So a lot of times I missed shows. I was going to enter paintings into a show just because they weren't quite dry enough. Now I don't have that problem, knock on wood. Also, I sold 2 of my paintings this week, so I splurged for the fancy paper plates with the design. I'm kidding. Those are the paper plates we have in the kitchen. Usually I don't use a paper plate. I just don't feel like cleaning it. This is freezer paper I put down. I'll tape it down and have a bigger work area. I just grab the paper plate for this one. So I had some Galkide Payne's gray. I like to use the Payne's gray for the sky. Sometimes I'll do this too. It's like I kind of know I want my horizon there. It's not written in stone. You can put your horizon wherever you want. But like I said, if you're going to do this technique, I really recommend a very smooth canvas. So if you're using a regular canvas, do some more layers of gesso, sand it, gesso, you'll get it a lot smoother than if you just use a regular standard. I am just right now kind of swapping some colors for my sky. Mostly Payne's gray though. Payne's gray, then I added a little bit of transparent red oxide, just to kind of get it. Now I'm just kind of blending it so I cover all the canvas. And what I'll do, this one is I kind of want to take some of that away. We're going to show some clouds. Don't worry about how it looks. Also, I put the paint on kind of thick up there, so we're going to kind of taking it off. The canvas will be stained, so you don't have to worry about taking all the paint off. I prefer these towels. These kind of towels are cheap, like commercial roll. It was $8 maybe for that roll. It's lasted me forever. It don't leave. I can use it a lot longer without leaving fibers behind. Won't start breaking down. Right now, I'm just kind of adding some texture to what I just did. I want a light spot there. It's going to be, I think, where my light's going to come from. And I'll just take a clean chip brush to kind of blend it in. Make sure your so far I haven't really put much thought into this. I'm just laying down, no kidding. No, for real. Really no thought in this so far. I just know I kind of think I want a light area there. That'll kind of represent some sun coming through the clouds. Alright. Now what I want to start doing is laying down some white. And it's going to blend, so it's not going to look as white. Again, no rhyme or reason, just kind of, I know I want this to kind of represent a light area. This is much different than how I used to paint. Used to paint, it was a lot, I felt a lot harder using like a using a white, whatever you want to call it, like a base white, and then going on top of it. Paint was a lot thicker. My paint, it's really thin now. I think that's part of the reason why it kind of dries. It's just easier to work with. It's not mudding up. Don't have to worry about it. Right now I'm just laying some base layers for the sky, kind of gives it some dimension. As I'm blending, keeping this brush really clean, and I do a crisscross. It just kind of helps it get rid of any patterns that you might have. It's hard, sometimes you think you're doing it random and then you step back and look. You see you got patterns that you've put in the painting. I do that often. Also, speaking of backing up, I back up a lot and I'll take step way back, look at it from way back, get another perspective. I keep my coffee or milk or whatever I'm drinking back there too, so it kind of forces me to get away to grab a drink. These really light areas, I'm gonna do something different there. I don't know what though. I think I'm just gonna put more white in them. Actually, you know what? Let's darken them up. I'm gonna put some straight up Payne's Gray in there. And it's really light areas. Not this area, this is kind of where I want some white to be, which I might add a little bit of a India yellow to it, which I don't have in my palette, but we'll get some. Just be careful with your yellows in the sky. Yellow and blue, you're gonna make green in your sky. There's nothing says you can't have green in your sky. It's just know that when you start doing it, that you might have green in your sky. Alright, I'm going to put a little bit of India yellow in. every time I do this, I'm just kind of making another layer to the sky. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add white. A lot of times I do the white with palette knife. Still going to blend it. Sometimes I put it on way too thick like I just did. Thin it out. I'm not going to blend this in as much. I want to leave some of that texture in that white. I feel like that really helps it pop. If you have some areas that are too high or you don't like them, just do it like what I did. And you just kind of push a little harder with the brush and then come back. Again, make sure you're keeping that brush as clean as possible so you're not blending all the colors together. I do, for my base light in the sky, usually I do like to blend the colors together, but I don't want the clouds to all disappear. All right, we'll leave that alone. Maybe. All right. I will say I also always recommend a bigger canvas. This is pretty small. I don't really like doing the small canvases when I do it like this anymore. Which is easier with the larger ones for me. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start working on the landscape and foreground. For that, I'm gonna use pretty much all three of these colors. Not the white, I got four of them. A little bit of Payne's gray, green, and sap green, I'm sorry, and transparent red oxide. You want the first, if you're trying to show distance, like way back there, you want soft edges, not hard. Kind of let it blend in with your skyline. I usually do it barely touching it. That's it. What you can do is still start. We add a little bit more red. As things get closer to you, they're gonna be warmer. Add a little bit more of the red in. Start showing a little bit more detail if you want. Depends how close you want that. You can add a lot of detail and it'll make it look like it's right in front of you. I'm actually gonna smooth that out. So I'm gonna start putting a little bit too much detail in. I want to push it back a little more. All right. I'm gonna go with even more red. Scalp is in there. Kind of start bringing stuff to the foreground. Right now, I'm just throwing landscape down. I don't really have much in mind. I want a tree here. Goes to about there. A little higher up. And do a path, I think. Probably somewhere in there. We'll see when we get there. That's why you'll understand why we want this canvas really smooth here in a minute. Alright, that tree right in there. Right now we're just blocking stuff in, and the tree might just end up looking like that. I want that tree to be right about there. It's good. Like it. Try to make it as random as you can. Trees don't really grow. If somebody's going out there trimming it, they don't really grow perfect. I'm gonna add some bushes in there. Side. Why I really like working with these brushes is because it's actually adding a lot of detail without you adding a lot of detail, if that makes sense. You don't have to work at it. The detail just comes from it. Once you kind of play around with the brushes and know how they work. This is where I'll step back. Also, I think you can see this. With this ultra smooth surface, when you use these different brushes, it takes a lot of the paint off if you do it. If you got a dry brush, kind of gives you a lot of detail without you, like I said, without you working for it. Now I just kind of start looking for things I see. If you really want to see a master at this, look for Dennis Sheehan. A lot of times you see him, he just slaps paint on and he just keeps stepping back until he starts seeing shapes and he sees trees and everything, and by the time he's done, it looks great. And it's pretty fun doing it that way too. So right now, I just kind of, the way I saw this was maybe those were up on a hill. So I'm just kind of bringing the landscape down a little bit. That. Now it kind of looks like it's gone up. So it's pretty easy doing it this way, just to show, you know, just by a couple brush strokes. Oh, the landscape kind of does this. It's a high point. I originally wanted a path through there, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I kind of like where I'm going with this. So I don't really, I rarely plan ahead. I never know where it's going. I'm not really adding any paint right now at all. I'm just actually taking paint off and pushing that paint around. Hopefully it's showing up. Like here, you kind of see like a little, not intentional, but something there. Maybe kind of makes it look like the landscapes and down this way, and maybe down again. Slopes. This style painting too, most paintings, but when it's all dry and you put a gloss varnish on this, this is gonna pop. All that detail is really gonna pop out. Sometimes you can do this too. Take a paper towel, just dab it. Just kind of want to make that, since it's kind of like the sun's back in there, behind that clouds, just kind of lighten up that side of the tree. And we can do the same thing there. This tree. when I'm done, I'll get the camera in close so you can kind of see what all's going on too. I like doing it this way because you don't always have a flat landscape. You know, you kind of see landscapes coming here, your ground, and it slopes down, slopes back up a little bit here. You end up getting, see a lot of your shadows, you got lights hitting here, all without doing a whole lot of thinking. It just kind of happens. Now, if you want, you can always go back and you can add. I do that sometimes. I'm not going to do it now, but sometimes I'll take a little bit of red or yellow, white, just dab some color here and there, make it look like maybe they're, whatever these are, got flowers on them. Done. I'm done. Figured I'd do a quick little tonal, I guess. If I can remember, I'll varnish this one when it's dry, with the gloss varnish, and then try to make a video on that. Maybe take a before and after picture, or maybe varnish, show you what it looks like. Half and half. I'll do something so you can see how well it pops, but wasn't nothing fancy. It was pretty simple, but just kind of get the idea of what you can do with a little bit of paint. You don't have to have 13 colors on your palette, and a couple cheap paint brushes. Don't need all that fancy stuff if you don't want it. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Here's the detail I was talking about that you get from the brush without really doing anything. And up close, it just looks like nothing. Back out. Oh, that's a tree in a field, sky.